Hey everybody, this is Dave. Thank you for joining me. I do appreciate you taking the time out to view this video. This is about parental alienation. Please stay tuned to hear my story, what I've gone through, my personal experiences, and I'm reaching out to you all at this point, dads and moms out there who have experienced parental alienation and have gone through hell and back because of it. Stay tuned, please. Click that subscribe button, click the bell next to it to get notifications for more videos to come. I've got lots of stories to tell. I've got a lot to share, and hopefully your engagement can create a community here of a group of people, like-minded people that have the same issues, the same thoughts, the same drive to share their experiences. In the end, help each other out in various different ways. Parental alienation, what does it mean to you? What does it mean to me? It's different for everybody. Everybody's experience is different, but parental alienation, there are different aspects of it that are combined to make it what it is. And what it is one parent against the other using their children as weapons to push the unwanted parent out of their lives and their children's lives permanently. It can be very subtle, and it can be very obvious. Unfortunately, it's the children that get caught in the midst of it, and they're the ones that get hurt in the end. The parents might exclaim that they've gotten hurt, that they've been done wrong. In the end, it's the children that get affected. It's the children that sustain a lifetime of emotional, mental scarring. They're children. The adults should know better. And the adults should have one thing in mind. They need a safe place. They need a healthy place to be. And, if that entails two households after a divorce, which 99.9% of the time it does, of what I'm currently dealing with. I've been divorced for 5 years. We divorced uncontested. It was a little rough. We had some back and forth, and there was some compromise that took place. So we kept it out of the court. And the whole point of doing that was to keep the kids out of court. It was my opinion that the children would be affected in a very negative way. It would be damaging. It would be scarring to both of our children, which were 7 and 11 at the time. And that's the last thing I wanted to do. That's all I had in mind was the kids and what was going to happen with them. How was custody going to fall in place? How was finances, of course, going to fall in place? But first and foremost, how was custody going to fall in place? How often would I get to see my children? And in my mind, I believe in 50-50 custody. And unfortunately, with the court system, the family court system more specifically, it doesn't work that way. It hasn't since the beginning, and it still hasn't so many years later. The court system's pretty stagnant. It is what it is. It's been what it's been, and it hasn't changed. And a lot of times, depending on what state you're in, depending on what judge you're dealing with, it can weigh in one direction or the other. And a lot of times the dads get the shaft. A lot of times the moms are favored because they've been favored in the past, because they are looked upon as the primary caregivers, even within a solid functional marriage. They're looked at as the primary caregivers, and it's been like that for a very long time. Of course, back in the 50s and 60s, before things changed and equality was brought forth. The mother was looked upon as the caregiver, the person who took care of the household. The father, went to work, earned the paycheck. He was the breadwinner, and that was that's the way it was. And over the years, things have changed, and of course, things are more equal due to finances and the economy and how expensive things are nowadays. Both parents are working full time, and both parents in most households hopefully are doing their part equally to take care of the children, take care of the finances, and get what needs to be done to take care of the children and to keep the house running. A lot of times it can be stressful, it can take its toll, and it can take its toll on the marriage itself if time isn't taken out for each other, for the married couple, because you have to put time into that just like you put time into your children and your household. At any rate, back on track. I was divorced 5 years ago, and it was uncontested, and we almost right off the bat, after the divorce was signed off by the judge, it was bad news. It should have went through the courts, maybe. But I feel like I got the raw end of the deal. But then again, I got a lot better than what a lot of dads would have lost in court for various reasons. In my case, the mother got primary custody. Even though in the paperwork it says we have joint custody, she has the primary custody. She makes decisions about the school, paperwork, medical decisions, things like that. That's just the way it works. One person has to be the decision maker. So unless both parents can work together, a lot of times the court prefers that the parents can work together. They stay out as the court, as the judge. They are able to stay out of it as much as possible. They got better things to deal with. They prefer that the parents can work together, can run a smooth, healthy, joint relationship for the kids. And that's a win-win for everybody. It's one less case for the judge to have to deal with, and it's healthy for the kids. In the end, they end up happy because mom and dad still can work together, even though they're not in the same household, married like they were before. They can still work together, and they can still do what needs to be done for the kids. The kids perceive this as, hey, mom and dad are good people, they love us, and they want the best for us. A lot of times it doesn't work out. Most times it doesn't work out that way. It's not a pretty picture. Mom and dad, divorce can bring out the worst in them. And it brought out the worst in us. Particularly my ex-wife. It brought out the absolute worst in her. And, I've had my moments. But she made it clear from the beginning she did not want my children in my life. She felt like I was a thorn in her side. And she couldn't stand the thought of me being connected to her through this divorce for so many years until they become adults. And I was told many, many times that she either wished I was dead or she wished that I would just walk away and be a deadbeat father and just walk out of their lives and be done and never see them again, and therefore she would never have to deal with me, talk to me, see me again. But it didn't work that way. It was quite the opposite. Hey, thank you very much for tuning in and listening to my story. Please subscribe for part 2, which is coming up very soon, of my story of my experiences with my ex and alienation of my son. Part 2 coming up very soon. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit the bell icon to get notifications of when I release new videos up and coming. There should be a whirlwind of videos coming up from D&B Vlogs. Until then, Thank you for joining me, and remember, one positive thought can turn your life around. Until next time.